Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales. We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. You know how they say some nights change your whole life? That night began with nothing but a kiss on the cheek, the scent of her vanilla perfume, and 6 little words that used to mean nothing. Don't wait up for me, okay? I was already reaching for the TV remote when Mallory left. My wife of 11 years. She said she was meeting her college girls, dinner downtown, maybe drinks, maybe dancing. I wasn't the jealous type. Not until that night. She wore that green wrap dress, the one that hugged her in all the right places. Hair curled, lip gloss just shiny enough to catch barlight. And as she walked out the door, I remember thinking, not with suspicion, but with love, God, she still knows how to look good. I didn't know it then, but I was admiring a woman who hadn't looked good for me in months. I'm Logan Hayes, 38, quiet guy, systems engineer, lived in Fort Worth most of my life. My marriage wasn't perfect, but I thought we were solid, stable. We had routines, inside jokes, a golden retriever, Saturday pancakes, and a photo frame in our hallway that read, "Forever isn't long enough." Funny how you never see the cracks forming until you fall right through one. That night, Mallory didn't post anything on her social media. That may not sound like a big deal, but it was. She always posted her meals, her drinks, her friends, little boomerangs of her clinking glasses or laughing in dim lounges. That night, silence. No photos, no stories, no check-ins, just blank space. At 1:17 a.m., I was still on the couch, scrolling old texts between us, ones I didn't even know I missed. Things like, "Miss your face already," or "Don't forget our anniversary reservation." I stared at my phone for minutes before I gave in and opened our shared Verizon account. I shouldn't have. I know, but I did. And there it was. A name I didn't recognize, Gavin or Dut, popping up every other hour in her logs. Dozens of texts. Regular. Personal. Private. At 1:26 a.m., I tapped into my own guilt and told myself I was overthinking. Maybe it was a work friend, or a cousin, or some innocent thread I was blowing up in my head. But my gut was already twisting like barbed wire. She got home just after 3 a.m., quietly, like she didn't want the floor to creak, like she was tiptoeing past guilt. "Hey," she whispered, slipping off her shoes. "Didn't think you'd be up." "Movie ran late," I said. I didn't mention that I'd already read dozens of messages between her and a man who called her Mally. I asked her how dinner went. She gave me a list of names, none of them Gavin. Then said she was tired. She left her purse on the kitchen island and went to shower. I waited until the water ran before I opened her phone. She hadn't deleted anything. Maybe she still trusted me, or maybe she just didn't care enough to cover her tracks. That's when I saw a photo. Not the kind you send a family. The kind where your arm is slung across someone else's chest. Your head rests on their collarbone. Your smile is too real. And your husband isn't even in your thoughts. Gavin was a fitness instructor she met through her sister's gym. Single, ripped, charming. Their texts were filled with late-night dreams and midday flirtation. Not sexual. Worse. Emotional. They talked about things she hadn't mentioned to me in years. Her dreams of moving to Seattle. Her fear of getting old, her wish to feel seen again. That used to be my job. I didn't confront her. I played dumb, because I needed a plan, not just to respond, but to remember who I was before I married a woman who could lie that easily. I needed to stop being the quiet guy in the background and become the shadow in the corner of her life, the one watching everything. Because Mallory had made her move, and now it was my turn. For the next few days, I played the role I had perfected over years of marriage. The predictable, understanding husband. I woke up when she did. Poured her coffee just the way she liked it. Kissed her on the temple before work. Never once gave her reason to believe I'd seen the messages. But behind my calm smile, something inside me was shifting. I wasn't angry. Not in the explosive way most people imagine. My rage came cold. Calculated. It didn't scream. It watched. It took notes. It waited for an opening. And the first opening came 3 nights later. Mallory had fallen asleep early. Her phone buzzed at 10:46 p.m. I was sitting across the room, pretending to read a book. The screen lit up just long enough for me to see the name, Gavin R., followed by a message that simply read, Tonight was perfect. I didn't want to let go. I stared at those words for a long time. That was the moment I stopped asking questions and started building answers. I made a fake profile that same night. A believable one. A guy named Derek Faulkner, complete with photos, mutual interests, even a fabricated digital footprint that could pass a background check if someone ever bothered to do one. He was just fitness adjacent enough to seem real to Gavin. Someone who might have met him at a gym expo or a local training event. Within 48 hours, Gavin accepted my friend request. By the end of the week, we were trading workout tips. Within 2 weeks, I knew more about him than Mallory did. Gavin had a girlfriend before Mallory. A real one. A woman named Sierra. Their breakup was messy, bitter, and she'd left town right after. But what Gavin didn't know was that Sierra had once written a tell-all blog post, detailing everything from his manipulative ways to his habit of bragging about confidential client info, including some financial schemes he ran under the table. Gavin wasn't just a cheater. He was a liability. I archived everything. Every screenshot. Every message. Every whispered phone call I overheard through the vents. And then I bought 2 small devices off a security site. A mic bug no bigger than a thumb drive, and a micro camera disguised as a wall charger. I installed both in our home. One in the bedroom, one in the hallway, angled just right to catch her when she thought she was alone. It was never about catching them in the act. It was about understanding the timeline, the depth, the lies. I didn't want confrontation. I wanted control. Meanwhile, life at home continued. We had breakfast. We went to the farmer's market. She showed me Instagram reels of dogs dancing to old rock songs, and I laughed like nothing had changed. But every time she left the room, I was watching her reflection in the mirror. Every lie she told became another seed I planted. And soon, I began watering them. It started small. I changed her email password. Just once. Then reset it quietly. I adjusted her calendar notifications so she'd show up late to a few meetings. Just enough to rattle her. I left subtle marks on the guest room floor where she wouldn't think to look. Little trails of suggestion that maybe, just maybe, someone else had been there. And Gavin? He started talking to Derek about his side hustle, how he'd made an extra $9,000 last quarter by giving investment tips to high-paying clients before the stock hit. Bragged about it. Even sent screenshots. All it took was a single nudge. Man, if that's true, you gotta be careful. Sounds like insider trading stuff. Not if you're smart, Gavin replied. It's all about who you trust. I filed that under Exhibit A. Then came the night Mallory said she was flying to Portland for a work retreat. She kissed me goodbye at the airport. Said she'd be back Sunday. Left in a white blouse and high heels. I knew she wasn't going to Portland. She wasn't even going to the airport. I followed her in an Uber under a different account. She met Gavin in a hotel downtown. Room 1403. They didn't come back out until noon the next day. I didn't confront her when she returned home. I didn't scream. I just handed her a cup of tea and asked if the trip had been productive. She smiled. Lied. Thanked me for being so supportive. I nodded, because I knew she'd just checked in her own trap. That night, I backed up every single file into 3 drives. One I kept at work, one I gave to my lawyer, and one I mailed to myself in a sealed envelope with a timestamp. Because this was no longer just about her betrayal. This was about justice. And Mallory Hayes had no idea she'd already lost the game she thought she was winning. The first blow wasn't loud. It didn't come crashing down like a hammer. It landed like a whisper, a subtle shift in the wind. Mallory had just posted a filtered photo of her morning smoothie on Instagram. Sunlight behind her. Her signature quote underneath. Grateful for small moments. That's when the first email hit her inbox. Subject line. You forgot to log out. No sender name. Just a screenshot of her kissing Gavin outside room 1403. No context. No explanation. Just undeniable truth. I wasn't the sender. Not directly. I used a ghost email chain. Bounced through 6 encrypted servers. One-time burner. Untraceable. I watched her from across the living room when she opened it. The way her smile faltered. The way her fingers paused on the keyboard. Her eyes stopped blinking for almost 10 full seconds. She glanced up, saw me watching her, and forced a smile. You okay? I asked, sipping my coffee. Yeah, she said. Just some spam. Weird stuff. I nodded. People are reckless these days. Her eyes flicked back to the screen. She closed the laptop, but she didn't stand up. She just sat there, silent, as if waiting for the world to crash down on her head. It hadn't yet, but it would, because I wasn't done. That same afternoon, I launched a file, a carefully edited compilation of her most polished lies, stitched together with screenshots, call logs, and video clips from the hallway camera. The title of the video: Behavioral Study, The Anatomy of Deception in Modern Relationships. I uploaded it anonymously to a high-traffic psychology forum, with tags like emotional infidelity, personality dissonance, and trust collapse. Within hours, it had 86,000 views. By the next morning, it had trended on TikTok under the hashtag Facade of Perfection. And Mallory, she was still pretending nothing had changed. Until Gavin called. Loud, angry, confused. I listened from the hallway. He was yelling about some psycho who exposed everything. And my gym clients are calling, my LinkedIn's trashed, my DMs are full of threats. He demanded to know if she was behind it. She denied it, over and over. But she was shaking, because for the first time since this began, she wasn't in control. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. And in the morning, I left a gift on the kitchen counter. Her favorite coffee, a sticky note that said, "I love you." She looked at me with wide eyes, a flicker of guilt, but she didn't know it was already too late. It was day 6 when the second strike landed. Her sister, Jenna, messaged me. "Logan, are you okay? What's going on?" She'd seen the video. She didn't know it was Mallory, but she suspected. I responded with something vague, something kind, something that would plant just enough doubt. And then I sent the second package. This time, to Gavin's employer. It was a USB-labeled client risk documentation. Inside was the audio of Gavin bragging to Derek Faulkner about trading tips, unethical commissions, and using his position to nudge rich clients towards shady investment portfolios. It didn't take long. By Thursday morning, Gavin's company had launched an internal audit. By Friday afternoon, he was placed on administrative leave. By Saturday, his car was no longer in Mallory's driveway. The silence in our house thickened. Mallory cried in the shower now. She stayed in bed longer, left her phone face down on the counter, forgot to water her plants, stopped tagging me in posts. But she hadn't confessed. And so I wasn't done, because this wasn't just about Gavin. It was about the woman who'd looked me in the eyes after 11 years of marriage and said, "Don't wait up," like it meant nothing. So I prepared the final act. I filed for divorce. Not quietly, not politely, not behind her back. I handed her the papers on a Sunday morning. She was in her bathrobe, holding a coffee cup, halfway through her usual crossword. "What's this?" she asked, brows furrowing. "Read it," I said. She flipped through the pages, slowly, like her hands didn't want to believe what her eyes were reading. When she reached the part about fault-based petition due to infidelity, breach of marital trust, and documented betrayal, her lip trembled. "You're ending it?" she whispered. "No," I replied. "You ended it. I'm just turning the lights off." Mallory didn't speak for almost 2 minutes. She just stared at the divorce papers, blinking like she was trying to wake up from a bad dream. And I didn't say a word. That silence, it was louder than shouting. When she finally did speak, her voice cracked. "Logan, can't we talk about this first? This doesn't have to happen like this. We can fix it." I tilted my head. "Did you ask Gavin that? When you were in his hotel room, did you tell him we could fix this?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "But guilt isn't a currency you can spend after you've burned the house down." She begged me not to do this publicly. Said she'd end it. That she made a mistake. That she still loved me. I almost believed her. Almost. But I'd seen the footage. Her smile when she texted him. The softness in her voice when she said, "I wish I met you sooner." You don't say that when you're just confused. You say that when you've decided someone else is your new future. And now, her future had evaporated. She didn't know that I'd already closed every joint account. That I'd transferred our savings months ago into a secure fund under my name. Set up back when her lies first started to smell different. I used her login to move the last pieces. Her phone still had the password saved in the cloud. She'd written it once in a notes app and forgot to delete it. I didn't even need to hack her. She handed me the key. And then came the family email. Subject line, "Your daughter, your friend, the truth." Inside, a 10-minute private video. A montage. Clips of her whispering Gavin's name while staring at her phone. Her tearful calls to him. The blurry selfie of them half-dressed in a hotel mirror. No graphic content. Just truth, sharpened like glass. I didn't post this one online. I sent it directly to her dad, the church elder, to her sister, the social media coach, to her yoga instructor, her colleagues, her book club friends, and even her favorite charity board, where she was a regular donor. Mallory didn't just lose her reputation. She lost her identity. The woman who had spent years crafting a persona of elegance, discipline, loyalty, and warmth was now nothing more than a trending cautionary tale. Her father called her a disgrace during Sunday service. Her sister blocked her, scrubbed every photo they'd ever taken together, and reverted to her maiden name. Her yoga studio suspended her indefinitely. Violations of our ethics code, they said. We cannot associate with deceptive behavior. And Gavin, let's just say his insider trading conversation made it to the right inboxes. The SEC opened an investigation. Quiet first, then very loud. A week later, Gavin's personal accounts were frozen. 2 weeks later, federal agents knocked on his door. He was indicted on multiple counts of fraud. From what I hear, his lawyer tried to bargain down to 4 years. But someone leaked the recordings to the media. And that someone was me. Now, let's talk about what mattered most. Not the money. Not the house. Not even the divorce. No, the most satisfying revenge came from the court ruling. You see, Mallory had once laughed at the prenup. Back when we were young and stupid in love, she signed it without even reading the fine print. Like I'd ever cheat on you, she giggled. That sentence aged like milk. The judge reviewed every file, every log, every frame of video and timestamp call. And by the end of it, there wasn't a single doubt. She had destroyed the marriage. Not me. So I got everything. The house, the dog, the vehicles, even her grandmother's antique necklace. Mallory's one sentimental keepsake was deemed community property. I sold it and donated the money to a nonprofit for emotional abuse survivors in her name. The charity posted a thank you video, tagging her. The comments section exploded. Mallory moved in with an old friend in the next county. Last I checked, she was working overnight shifts at a roadside diner. Gavin's gone. Her social circle evaporated. Her number changed. She tried reaching out once. A burner number. Texted, I know I hurt you. Please stop. I didn't reply, because I already had. This was never about destroying her. It was about revealing her. The woman behind the filter. Behind the smile. Behind the soft lies that used to rock me to sleep. Now, I sleep alone, but I sleep peacefully. The day my divorce was finalized, I stood on the porch of what used to be our home, and it didn't feel haunted anymore. The curtains she picked were gone. So was the couch where she used to curl up and scroll through Gavin's messages while I brought her tea. I had replaced everything, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. You don't heal in the same room where you were betrayed. I lit a single candle in the kitchen and made steak for dinner. For myself. Medium rare, with peppercorn sauce. She hated that. Said it made the house smell like a steakhouse. I liked it that way. I didn't play music. I didn't scroll my phone. I didn't think about the video views or the legal paperwork or how Gavin had pleaded down to 3 years with parole. I thought about the silence and how for the first time in years it didn't ache. Let me be clear. I never asked to become a man capable of revenge. I was a loyal husband. I remember birthdays. Took her car for oil changes. Wrote notes in her lunches when she was stressed. We used to sit on the back porch at sunset and make up stories about the people walking their dogs. I didn't lose interest. She lost patience. And instead of asking me to fight for her, she handed her attention to a man with abs and secrets. Gavin wasn't better than me. He was easier, and she chose ease over depth. But what she never expected was that the man who fixed her Wi-Fi and massaged her feet on bad days could also dismantle her double life with surgical precision. She wanted mystery? She got it. She just didn't know the real mystery was me. In the weeks after everything ended, I started getting emails. From people who saw the anonymous upload. From women who said, "Thank you for showing what emotional cheating really looks like." From men who said, "I've been Logan before, but I never got justice." Some call me cruel. Others call me brave. The truth? I didn't care about what anyone called me anymore. Because when someone rips you open and walks away without looking back, you either bleed out quietly, or you stitch yourself up with something stronger. And I chose Steel Thread. I used the settlement money to launch something new. A private cybersecurity firm focused on data privacy, online infidelity tracking, and digital deception defense. Irony, right? Clients lined up fast. Turns out betrayal is common. Preparedness is rare. I hired 3 staff members, set up an office downtown, even consulted for a few therapists who wanted insight into digital marital drift. Every time I helped a man or woman uncover a truth they feared but needed, I healed a little more. I wasn't angry anymore. I was empowered. Mallory tried to reach out one last time. A handwritten letter. The envelope arrived on a cold Thursday. No return address. Just my name, Logan Hayes, written in that looping script I'd memorized over years of anniversary cards and holiday tags. I didn't open it. I burned it in the fireplace. Because closure doesn't come from their apology. It comes from the moment you stop needing one. I won't say I came out of this clean. There were dark days. Nights when I questioned everything. Even myself. But I never crossed the line. I exposed the truth. And if the truth destroyed her, then she was the one who built her world on something that couldn't survive daylight. Me? I built mine again from scratch. This time, on solid ground. With stronger walls. And no doors left unlocked. So if you're watching this now, wondering if staying quiet is the high road, let me ask you something. What's the point of a high road if you're the only one bleeding on it? You don't have to scream. You don't have to break things. You just have to be smarter than the lie, colder than the betrayal, and patient enough to watch it all collapse exactly how it was always meant to.